We are the Nerdy Turtle Network.
Hello, and welcome to Icons, Blooded Stars. Here on the Nerd Turtle Network. This is the second segment of our anthology season. We kicked off last week being introduced to several new characters as the Muckboot ventured out into space. Everyone sort of came across a ship in distress at the same time. They were being attacked by unknown forces, carrying refugees away from a conflict. I believe Zach's character was on board. He had been living with the people that were fleeing.
Yes, sir.
That is Silver Shooting Star, our reformed pirate, I believe.
Oh, yes. That's a steal.
I don't know how much he advertises that to everybody around him, but yeah.
Not something he talks about very much.
Then we had Bloodthorn, who arrived with one of the Hunters Guild.
Yep.
We had, of course, Muckboot, who we know from last season.
Yep.
And then we had a ship full of philosophers that showed up with Ib, the Living Nebula, who had been traveling with him and dispensing his vast knowledge.
Also, that's Ebe.
How did I pronounce it?
I think he said Ib, but not to be picky. But
I got it, and I think I got it right last week. Oh, well.
he did.
Very well, then. Ib, the Living Nebula.
I'll get it wrong, too.
Yeah, we all did really great last week, so today we're going to screw it up.
You know, Zach will wind up being, Star Shooter or something, and, But anyway, you escorted the ship to the Hunter's Lodge, which is a space station that the Hunters Guild is based out of. You had taken... You took some... you took, 3 captives, I think? And about as many bodies.
3 captives, some dead bodies, and a ship.
Yep.
This called a CBS.
Traveling with Blood. I mentioned Bloodthorn was traveling with one of the hunters. That was the hunter Geode, who Muckboot already knew. Once y'all arrived at the lodge, you also met Odoot. I think I pronounced that right. Geode's father, who is one of the Hunter Supremes, like Muckboot is. They were quite excited at you having prisoners. And Muckboot also received a warning.
That Count, what's his face?
Conthraxis, I think is how that's pronounced.
Yes.
A former Hunter Supreme that kind of left in a huff. He tends to believe that hunting is should be restricted to a class of a certain refinement. He kind of looks at Muckboot as a filthy peasant. He and some followers, he had a clique with him that agreed with him. Had all left in a huff some time back. But with the current threat, the forces you face were part of a much larger force that seems to be invading the local area from outside the galaxy. And everyone is sort of using the lodge as a neutral area to plan defense. So he's not rejoining the guild, but the county's shown up to throw in, with the overall defense.
He don't like the players, but he's part of the team.
Well, he does live here, and protecting the peasants also protects his stuff.
He's a proper interstellar lord.
truthfully, in some ways, that would kind of be the mindset, you know. He don't think much of you, but it is his duty to protect you, so he better go out and do it.
How can he prove himself better than you if he doesn't do the things that make him better than you?
Yes. Yes, I know I'm better, but I have to make sure you know it too.
God, I think I went to school with this guy.
I'm sure we all know people kind of like this, but anyway. So yeah, Duke was warned you about that.
There's not a whole lot I can do about it. So
No. He just didn't want you to get around the corner and there he is and kind of get blindsided by him.
Get your insults ready.
All right, I am missing a page of notes, I think. All right. So you were going around. I believe they were about to have. There was a meeting in session that I think they were taking you all to. Assuming that you don't need, if you're injured or need rest, they'll get you that first.
I don't think any of us got super hurt.
And of course the refugees they brought with you, they're already setting up things to get refugees to host planets, kind of spreading them out onto worlds deeper into the galaxy, trying to get them far enough back that
they aren't immediately affected again.
Yeah, so they aren't just reinvaded immediately, but also trying to spread them out enough that it's not taxing to any one system. As you walk into the main meeting room, there's people talking all over the place. You see representatives from several of the major galactic powers. The United Federated Systems, which is I guess almost more of a league of systems sort of thing. Very, very loose central government. Each planet kind of takes care of themselves, but they share technology. They share, it's a shared defense thing. Then you have the Empire of Minnows, who is much more your aggressive, militaristic sort of empire. You have the and you even think you see a representative from the Singularity League, which is an area of space controlled by AIs.
Nice.
It's not a completely unpopulated area, but the number of life-bearing planets is less. And none of them have advanced cultures. There's also lots of smaller independent systems that are here. You see beings of just, all sorts, all kinds of colorations, different numbers of appendages. There's a few more creatures like Geode and Odute that are silicone based, so they tend to look more stone or crystalline. Quite a few people look up as y'all walk in. Some of them seem to be reacting to Muckboot's presence. A few of them are reacting to Ebe. I'll get it right eventually. Because living nebulas are not unknown, but it's one of those things where you rarely run into somebody that's met one in person. You've heard of them, or this culture has got legends of them, but you know.
Plus, they have to look really, really cool.
I feel like that's not a necessity.
It is a necessity of life.
I mean, ball in his life, yes, but but all right. So they're interested in us entering.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, they're milling around, speaking in smaller groups. Nobody's giving like a presentation at the moment. It's like maybe they're all waiting on somebody to show up.
Oh, joyful.
Who could it be? Dun dun dun. I bet it's your friend.
He could be. He could be. I'm sorry. I'm trying to find where I put the art for this character.
Does his name count Cathraxis?
Uh,
I'm
yes.
so bad with the names. I've got
Count
Eve right.
Babylon. It was a whole name. He was like one of those long aristocratic names. But yes, Count Canthraxis. That's his heading in the Node Eternal Network handbook to the Icons universe.
Oh, that would be a fun thing to put together. All right. Ebe. You see a lot of people looking at you. And the next thing you know, there's somebody standing next to you, looking up at you.
Eve will look downward.
They're humanish size.
Not metaphorically. Okay. Acknowledgement.
Oh yeah, I forgot he talked like that. Or they talk like that.
I might still be workshopping it. Ebe's voice. I don't know if you heard me, but I was just looking up like what sounds does a nebula make based on the emissions out of the gases. And I'm still workshopping it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But yes, that is the standard Ebe greeting.
So it's a small humanoid with one large eye in the center of its head.
Does he recognize the particular species?
I've dropped a picture of it in the chat, in the Discord.
Oh, I think I remember.
Yeah, I think I may have shown y'all the art for this before.
That's from our sneak preview.
And let me... I guess drop it in the... over here in the Roll20 where I can show people at home. But yeah, like you see in the picture, dressed in black and white, large central eye, basic humanoid appearance. But you look down, you go acknowledgments. She looks up at you. I'd forgotten how cute y'all are at this age.
Oh. Do we get more cute or less cute?
Well, it's not that you get ugly. She's just kind of walking around you. I mean, nebulas are always beautiful, but they're just kind of adorable at this stage.
Have you studied Eve's kind?
No, not particularly, but every now and then they pass through this part of space and time.
You seem to be quite knowledgeable of such things. Such your awareness on the cosmic scale, that is.
Oh yeah, well, I've got my little section of existence that I monitor.
Oh, does Eve know about any such monitoring bodies?
Well, there's governments that monitor areas of space and stuff like that. You do not specifically recognize this creature or what they're referring to.
Eve says, Eve senses that you're not affiliated with any government.
Oh no, we're way above that. But there's a lot happening, and some of it may affect what I do look after.
Are you here to protect us?
Not exactly.
Strictly to observe?
That wouldn't be exactly fair either. I'm not supposed to interfere unless what's going on... Well, if it starts to mess too much stuff up.
I hope you find no need to interfere then.
I hope not, but everything's such a jumble. Free will is just... it's an inefficient. I mean, the place would be dreary without it, but... Oh, right. She kind of holds out her hand, or they hold out their hand. I'm Zeta Nun.
Does that name ring a bell?
To Muckboot?
Yes.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Actually, is that N supposed to be there, or is it supposed to be Zeta 1? But no, if any of you are paying attention to this interaction with Eve, none of you recognize this person, or nothing really jumps out.
How does that name get spelled?
ZETTA -NONE.
Oh, okay.
Why was I thinking it was like Zeta Nun NUN?
I don't know.
Well, I mean they sound the same.
Because you wanted a nun? I don't. Because it's a black and white dress.
I guess so.
They're dressed in black and white, so you went, clearly a nun.
Yeah, clearly.
My God, the space Catholics are here.
Yeah. What science fiction needs is more space nuns.
Now, the one thing, Muckboot, that you might pick up on that nobody else in your group might, their belt buckle looks like a clock. Like an old school two-handed clock.
Like a human clock.
Yes. I mean, other species have come up with similar designs, but
Yeah.
all these guys
So,
traveling with you are advanced, so...
But it seems like a piece of analog technology.
Mm-hmm.
Which is more and more rare.
And their earrings, kind of look like clock hands, even to the point of one of them being shorter than the other.
Well, I had planned to say hello to the group as a whole, but hello there, Zeta Nun. I'm Muckboot.
Oh yes, I've heard of you. She reached out, shake your hand. That was some weird stuff that went on back by your world a while back.
Yeah, holes in space don't normally appear that often.
And time. I couldn't even see what was on the other side.
Oh, the end of the universe. Nasty stuff.
Oh, that would have been bad. They're not supposed to get in this early.
That's what the assistant that came through told us. Or
Yeah,
shall I
that-
say, the man who assisted us, not the assistant of them. Their assistant didn't say much, just canceled out a bunch of people's powers and committed a lot of murder.
Yeah.
Sadly, Earth lost its greatest primordial in the fight.
Ah, well. I'm sure, lost stuff can be found again. Don't worry about it.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it would take more than what's back there to kill him.
And as y'all talking, a larger group has been walking up. Several ambassadors greet Muckboot.
I respectfully reply.
You also have several people approaching Eve. Asking if you're here to help them in their time of need.
Eve hopes the action comes soon. And that probably sounds a lot more cryptic, but really Eve's just getting bored and wants something to do.
Unbelievably vast lifespan. No attention span at all.
Yeah, you'd think it'd be the opposite.
If he ever makes it to Earth, he will fall in love with handheld consoles.
Oh boy. That might require Zeta Nun's intervention.
Or maybe just smartphones. Eve could be very...
He'll be addicted to keeping up with his dailies and his games.
Exactly. I'm just thinking that.
He'll fall into the pit of social media and never get out.
Just Wordle notifications transmitted on a galactic scale.
But and it's kind of small talk, Eventually, a speaker gets up and calls kind of a session to order, and everybody takes their seats. You were all set over with the hunters, since you are guests of Muckboot. They begin to go over, planets that have been attacked. They talk about how long it's been going on. Stuff that you found out speaking with the refugee ship last session. They do at one point focus on all of you, and ask you to give a report on what happened. We've already done a review, so we won't hash it too much. Unless there is something specific that some of y'all want, any specific information some of y'all would want to present to them.
I think so.
Okay.
The only thing Muckboot would want to state is that the luck involved in that situation to have it work the way it did is something we need to capitalize on in study of this ship and cooperation in study of this ship. Because we will not always have a living nebula to cancel out the entire systems within a ship every time we need it. So we'll need, to study and understand their shielding technology and their teleportation technology at as expedient a rate as possible.
You see a lot of the folks here nodding. The representative from the Minnows Empire stands up and loudly declares that their scientists should be taken to the ship immediately. You see the StarForger representative just roll their eyes.
Speaking of StarForgers, where is Rudan?
She was escorted. She was immediately escorted to her people with a report of what her activities were. They have not had a chance to follow that up with Muckboot, but because y'all pretty much went straight to this meeting. O'Duke speaks up. Talks about where the ship's at. That some of the StarForgers are already have already begun examining it. And of course, anybody can send their representatives down there that want to. The hunters have a member or two down there as well, just to kind of keep an eye out and make sure everybody's sharing information like they're supposed to. As I said before, the hunters are looked at as generally as a neutral party. The meeting goes on. Other people make reports on various goings on. You get reports on how they're handling the refugee crisis. At one point, Muckboot, you are called on to make the presentation that you basically came there to make. I'm assuming you would have let Geode or O'Duke or somebody kind of know why you had headed back. The assembled ambassadors don't really know what to make of it.
But, seeing the power... They at least know about the power primordial and stuff like that, because it's a more space... there's more things in space that have it, so...
Oh, yes. Not everybody believes it's a real thing, but there's enough beings that claim it that, yeah. It's not something that's well understood by anybody. But, their big takeaway is that's a potential major threat, but the locals in your region seem to have taken care of it.
Yeah.
There's lots of motions to table any sort of examination of these events until the current crisis is over.
Oh, and Muckboot completely agrees. This is a situation that can be put on hold. It is simply something that needed to be spoken to and known.
Yes, and they thank you for bringing it to their attention.
This was not a better time.
So the meeting continues on. Ebe, you are probably getting dreadfully bored.
I bet I am. Yeah. Ebe is certain of that. Yes.
At one point, you see Zeta Nunn standing behind some other delegates, and she's just looking over, or there. I keep saying she, but they keep looking over their shoulder, the delegate's shoulder, just reading whatever's on their screen. Delegate kind of notices, looks at it. Oh, sorry. She kind of wanders
so
off.
So she, it's she who apologizes and moves on.
Mm.
You mean? Okay.
Yes.
Does it seem like anyone's like giving her any kind of deference?
No, a few people are actually looking at him like, who are they?
Okay.
But they wander over to a wall. But then a little bit later, you see him behind somebody else.
Eve's starting to wonder if this could actually be a spy. Eve might want to start like following her as stealthily as a living nebula could, which is not at all.
Well, you do give off light, and you're very colorful, so you know. But at one point, it's like there's a moment when they catch you looking at them.
Oh.
Now, how you could tell where Eve is looking, I don't know. But they smile and they hold up 3 fingers, and then they drop one of them, and then they drop another one, and then they point to the door as the door opens.
Ah.
And a courier comes rushing in. It's a Hunters Guild support staff. You know, Muckboot, you recognize the little insignia, or markings on their uniform. They're in communications. You know, the Hunters don't keep a huge staff around, but they do have a space station to run, so, you know. And a few of the Hunters have ships big enough that they have to be crewed. But he immediately comes up to you and O'Doot, hands you a data pad. Sirs, we've gotten information that contact has been lost with the planet Amverstan, excuse me. They were. It's a fairly isolationist world. Quite peaceful with its neighbors. But the closest advanced culture is some little distance away, but close enough that they catch communication signals from the planet at all times. Most of those signals just suddenly shut off. And they are in the predicted path of the invasion wave. And the data pad he holds you has that information and more specifics on the world and whatnot. They are an advanced culture, but they just don't do a whole lot outside of their system. Very stable government, very stable society. O'Doot reads over the files, and everybody else in the room has just kind of gone quiet because clearly something's happening. O'Doot plugs the data pad into the table, and holographic display comes up in the center of the room. You were all, of course, close enough to hear. Ebe, when she pointed at the door and you heard the door open, you turned and looked at the door. When you turned back, she was gone. Or they were gone.
Have the Hunters got any information out of the prisoners we captured yet?
It's been like 30 minutes and y'all been in this meeting the whole time. Well, probably more like an hour.
And honestly, getting their language down is going to probably take some time.
Unless they have babblefish.
And it'll take even longer.
Well, we've got babblefish, but they don't have ears.
Where do we stick this thing?
Anyway, so there's immediately a flurry of activity, different people shouting different ideals, the Minnows think they should send the fleet in immediately. Try to catch the invaders unawares, or by surprise anyway. Others point out that given the time delay, they might very well have already cleared out, because it takes a few weeks for your run of the mill, light speed communications to travel to that other system. Because it's like it's essentially their local communication networks just bleeding out into space is what they're picking up, not, like I said, they're isolationists, so they don't intentionally communicate with people outside very often.
So it's possible this invasion happened like weeks ago.
That is most likely what happened. Assuming it's the invasion. We just lost communication.
Oh, right.
And that neighboring world does not have much of a defense fleet and doesn't want to send any of their ships off to investigate. They've actually begun evacuation of non-essential personnel. The UFS wants to send, some sort of scouting party out. The representative from the Singularity League isn't making any real comments.
Well, if they're following a predicted path, does this collective group have the resources to, anticipate where they're going to strike next and have resistance waiting?
Well, what they are referring to as the invasion wave is kind of it's basically the front that they seem to be, and it started somewhere at the edge of the galaxy and it's just kind of spreading out, kind of ever expanding. Some sections, move ahead further than others. It's not.
It's more like
not
a
smooth
wave
curve.
than a string.
Right. It's not like they've got a location in mind and they're just beelining to that and taking over stuff in the path. It's a method, what's the word I'm looking for? They're being very methodical.
Like ripples in a pond.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like.
That's one thing that worries is so worrying is how much territory they seem to be taking over at the same time, rather than concentrating their forces.
They've got to have unbelievable resources to do that.
They're really hoping to get that information out of the prisoners.
In the meantime, Muckboot will suggest a small defensive fleet to the neighboring planet if they allow it, and will suggest that he go with a scout party.
The ideal of sending... Everybody seems to be in favor of sending that next planet help. But everybody's got a different idea of exactly how that should do. The Minnows are really just wanting to... They just want to hit everything full force. The UFS has got a more cautious approach. Several of the independents, are throwing around ideals. But everybody seems to agree they will accept your suggestion or your offer to lead a scouting party out. Intel is important.
And Muckboot will... how much information has Muckboot seen about the wave itself?
Probably just the very generalized map.
Muckboot will ask the representative of the Singularity League if they have the present information on all known engagements with the invasion wave so far, and if there is like an average number of ships pushing against each planet in the wave, if they have that information on hand. Because being AI, they should be able to access it faster than a flesh being.
Let's see. Ambassador. Will they have a serial number or a name?
I mean, I could see them having both.
Yeah. And of course, I'm sitting here blanking, trying to come up with just a random name, and I'm blanking. All right. The AI ambassador. We'll just go Star Wars style and give it some letters and numbers. 84B16. It pauses for just a moment. Tells you the what information they've got, and it's not a whole lot. They seem to begin blocking communications almost immediately. But what they've got, it seems to vary a lot depending on what the defenses of the planet are. Less advanced worlds don't get as much attention. So the fleets have varied from anything to, 5 ships for a world that didn't have its own faster than light travel capabilities, to a fleet of at least 100 going up against more developed worlds. None of the worlds they've taken at this point have had anything on par with what like the major governments can field. The Minnows have lost some worlds, but it was kind of frontier worlds, so there wasn't a whole lot of defense there. Because there wasn't supposed to be anything in the area all that dangerous. You needed fleets to run off pirates and stuff.
Alright, with that information, we can have a rough estimate of how many opponents are coming in, and we can increase that by, say, 1.35%, or 1.35 times as many ships as a defensive measure to make sure we have more than what is expected necessary to defend the planet. As a cautious but overwhelming hit to them.
Give me a willpower roll. And if you've got any specialties that would factor into being convincing as you give a speech.
Nope.
Alright. I'll remember to roll a d6, not a d20 this time. Okay. They all, the council or the assembly tells you they will, they like that idea. They will take that into consideration in their debates.
But while that is happening, I can begin forming a squad to go with me.
Yes, Odu asked them to put that to a vote right away, and it's not completely unanimous because it's too big a group for anything to be completely unanimous.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty overwhelming. They want to send you out for scouting. You can assemble whatever team you feel is appropriate. If you need special equipment from one of the military, from one of these other governments, just talk to them about it. And you can leave out whenever you're ready.
Understood. first step will obviously be going to Bloodthorn and Geode. With Geode being someone I know and Bloodthorn being someone he trusts.
Mm-hmm.
And since they've already had engagement with the enemy, they know whether or not they'll feel safe continuing.
And they're all sitting at the table next to you.
Yeah, essentially it's hey, people I've seen fight these guys and win. Would you like to come fight more of these guys?
I'm in.
Don't have much of a choice now, do I? I'm in.
Understood.
Is that invite to all of us or just Bloodthorn and Geode?
Well, Ebe is like a little off to the distance, isn't he?
That's true.
No, everybody was pretty much at the table at this point.
He was still seated there. He was just watching something else.
Right,
Okay.
right.
In fact, he may not be paying attention to this now.
He's noticed that he doesn't see them anymore. Where did they go?
Muckboot will walk up. Ebe,
Hmm. Yeah. Ah, acknowledgements.
do you have desire to assist in our scouting mission? It may be a bit more excitement than you want, but
Eva's sense.
understood. And please understand that while I do not know how one would hurt you, this will be a dangerous situation.
Oh. Eve is not concerned.
Then I thank Eve for their help. And now I go to prison.
What?
Geode also agrees to go if you want him.
I do. Now let's go get a StarForger. Specifically the one I want.
Rudan.
I'll see if Rudan does.
Or is it Rudan? No, whichever.
Probably
one it is.
Rudan, because Rodan's a little too close to a kaiju.
Oh, fair point.
Those lawyers are already gearing up.
What did they say? So you head off to you can excuse yourself from the meeting because you've given the information you have to give, and it sounds like they're debating tactics at this point, not presenting more information.
And while Taxis is great, I'm a ground soldier and not a naval officer. I could not give much assistance in that.
So you head over to the StarForgers, what's currently their section of the station. You make inquiries. You find out Rodan is actually she's actually with the party that is investigating the ship. Since she had already done some of the work in your travels, it just wasn't logical to lock her up. Yeah, so
Yeah. But I will speak to Rodan if possible.
You have access. You're allowed access to the ship. Keep in mind, you're one of the head honchos of this station, so
Yeah.
And you walk in, and there's StarForgers. There's some scientists, some other scientists that have shown up and stuff too. There's several StarForgers running around. You see Rodan. She has got a fairly bulky ankle bracelet.
Because why make it sophisticated technology when that could break down? Just make it heavy. She won't really be able to get out of it.
Well, it looks very durable. It looks like it's all one piece, but you don't know. You have seen and heard of such things before. It'll have a tracker and a way to stun them and all kinds of stuff. Other than that, she just seems to be running around the ship, as free as any of the rest of them.
Fine. Salutations, Rodan.
Greetings, Hunter.
I'm about to go on a very dangerous mission, and I would like some advice from you.
Anything I can do, as long as it doesn't involve going on the mission.
I was going to ask for either you or your suggestion of a StarForger who would be willing to assist in this in a scouting mission.
How much scouting would I have to do?
You would stay on the ship and mostly do the same kind of work you were doing here, but on a smaller, more hand weapon and technology that the soldiers are actively using against us style rather than on ships. It would just be prudent to have a science, someone who had used a majority of their life on science to be studying these things as fast as we can get them.
And you can see her mind seesawing between, I don't want to go into danger, but first shot at whatever technology you recover. Well, if you can convince the authorities to let me go with you. She kind of cuts her eyes at one of the other StarForgers. I'm on, she kind of wiggles the leg. My movements are somewhat restricted.
Well, I assume you would not steal my Hound and attempt to escape with it, as it is a highly registered vehicle.
Oh, no, I don't want your ship.
Well, that being the only escape method you would have on the scouting mission, I do not see that there would be an issue. I'll go discuss it with her. And Muckboot will walk over and discuss with the StarForger, or the authority over it.
StarForger Zenthal.
Zenthal?
Zenthal. Greetings, Hunter.
Greetings, Forger.
Come to check on our progress or on our wayward sister?
I've come to ask for assistance, and your wayward sister was the first one who came to mind.
Oh, you need of technical expertise?
We're going to begin a scouting mission on a planet that has gone silent. We fear it has been contacted and overtaken by the invasion wave.
I see.
Having a technical advisor to gain as much information as possible on all ground-based weaponry that we obtain in this scouting mission would be prudent, and the most economical and efficient way of getting this done.
He nods his head. And she already has some experience with this technology.
And frankly, the ever-present need to put herself more forward than others, where she'll be the most excited to do it. Not to say that other StarForgers are not excited to gain a step forward technologically.
Mm. Oh, yes, but her enthusiasm will help keep her in line. This should not be a problem. We'll give you the controls to her bracelet in case she does cause any trouble. I will have to double check with my superiors, but I do not see it being an issue.
Understood. I'll begin prepping my ship for the extra occupant.
Very good then. We're making good strides here on the ship. But your report said they were that they had teleportation technology, correct?
I will turn to Bloodthorn Geode. They did teleport into the ship, correct? I saw no connective tubes or anything. The ships were at great distance to one another. I have to assume it was teleportation.
I believe that's correct.
And you saw some of them just disappear when they returned to the ship. That is odd. We can't find anything that seems to be teleportation technology. This is an advanced ship, but not head and shoulders above anything we've got. It's pretty. Seems to be pretty on par with the galactic standard. You know, they seem some of their power delivery is a little more efficient, and maybe this isn't as powerful.
Some optimizations are different.
Yeah, it varies, but it's on average.
That may mean the teleportation is a more natural ability of their people.
Oh, that would be unpleasant.
Very. But if it's the most obvious answer, it is the answer that needs to be prepared for.
Yeah. We're still searching through the systems, but and we have algorithms working to translate their language. At which point we can go through the log and see if there's any references. Then we can read their technical manuals. But if that's all you need, I'll need to get back to my work.
Yes, please. And I thank you for your consideration and time.
Certainly. And then then it's like you cease to exist. He turns around and dives back into whatever he was doing on his computer. All right, where would y'all like to go next?
I've got to prep supplies for the ship. So if anyone else has anything they wanted to do,
Nothing comes to mind for me.
Okay.
Shooting Star is just gonna tinker on his suit, make sure everything's up to snuff before heading out.
Run diagnostic. The Hunters Guild quartermaster will supply you with anything you need for basic maintenance. You have access to their shop at the moment.
And Eve would like to keep an eye out for Zetanun, and since they would seem to be the ultimate scout, would like to invite them aboard on our expedition. Assuming she just doesn't show up out of the void, which could very well be something she's capable of. But she'll look around for. Eve will look around for Zeta.
So Eve wanders the station. You don't see Zeta anywhere. And of course you're regularly having to, deal with random people coming up. One particularly persistent fella followed you around asking questions about your physiology. How do you talk? How did you make your suit?
Oh, that brings up a quite good question, because I still have not developed that part of Eve's background. How did Eve get that suit developed, or did someone supply it to Eve? I'm thinking, since I have not yet developed an answer to that Eve may very well have just begun awareness in the suit already, and somehow traced back. Well, I guess perhaps Eve. It'll really be up to Eve's perhaps fragmented memory to know that Eve was once an evil star. But since I don't have an answer, I think he's just
So if Eve doesn't have an answer, do they brush the guy off, or make up something?
Yeah, he would definitely just make up stuff, or he would try to say something cryptic that would indicate that that I think Eve would just actually like pretend to start explaining the story, but just get get sidetracked and talk about so much other stuff that eventually Eve will just wait until the person gets tired of trying to hear about the story, or we'll just conclude without even addressing it after a long, prolonged
Meandering story.
Yeah, exactly. And then if he doesn't understand it, Eve would just simply hover over him and if to the best of Eve's ability in Eve's form, just give a "Are you serious? You can't really you don't get it," kind of vibe, and then just walk away.
Yeah, it takes a while for you to tire him out, but you eventually do. At one point in a crowded hallway, though, you hear a gasp, and someone is looking at you in horror before turning around and running off.
Oh,
That's interesting.
Was it someone I've seen before?
Give me a willpower roll.
Sure. I've generated an 8.
You don't recognize the individual at all.
Okay.
But you've seen that species somewhere, and you can't for the life of you pin down where you've seen it.
Interesting.
They're a small blue humanoid. The one you saw was wearing dark clothing. And yeah, something about her, in the case of the one you saw. It's ringing a bell. You've seen them before somewhere, and you can't think of where.
If there's anything comparable to a library, Eve would like to go into it and maybe try to look up what the species is based on just what Eve saw of the one individual. See if Eve can locate that information. That much information.
The Hunter's Lodge, of course, has they actually have multiple libraries in different sections, but of course this is library in the term of you go in there and it's like there's rows of like computer stations,
right?
And there's a fair number of people using those because there's a lot of guests basically in the lodge at the moment. But you don't have any trouble finding a unit. And you were going to try to look up who they were?
Yes.
You start poking around, humanoids, that brings up a big list. You guess their size, that narrows it down some. Turns out there's like 15 species that are small and blue like this. But looking at pictures, you can find them readily enough.
Okay.
I used a note card as a bookmark, so maybe. There are a species called the anot, Annot. They are what do you call it? A dispossessed species. They no longer have a home world. So there's not a ton of them around. They're not like technically an endangered species or anything. And they're kind of spread around, mostly on 3 or 4 different worlds that took in refugees. They had only recently developed space travel. Were kind of new on the galactic stage when catastrophe fell them. Something they refer to as the maniac star. Rogue planets are pretty common in space. It's a lot rarer and a lot worse when a stray star wanders into your system.
Oh, gee.
Very much on the small side for a star. But much like Eve is a living nebula, this was a living star that kind of went about and did as it pleased. They tried to fight it off, but they were, incapable. Even your modern large governments wouldn't be able to do much with that. And that's really the big significant thing you can find about them. You don't recognize the name of their star system or any of that jazz.
Okay. So Eve does not have specific recollection, any memory fragments of doing that, or does Eve?
You just remember these people.
Oh, that's right.
It's just that species that you remember.
Then I can only assume that was Eve's former self, because what are the odds, right?
You can assume that, but Eve wouldn't assume that, because Eve wouldn't necessarily know where he came from, would he? Or do that? I mean, that's up to you.
Oh, I think. Yeah, I think I don't think anything I've written in Eve's background indicates that Eve is specifically aware. He's wanted for star crimes, but he doesn't necessarily know why. So I'm gonna assume that no, because Eve would be a lot more, I guess, much more developed as far as galactic motivations. Besides just not being bored, if Eve were aware that. We're fully aware of Eve's crimes of a former life. So we'll say no.
Okay.
But certainly Eve is very troubled by this.
But yes, the destruction of their world took several years. As the maniac demanded sacrifice and all kinds of stuff.
Oh, wow.
Wanted to be worshipped as a god. So, maybe the species is just, paranoid of astrological phenomena. At least of the walking, talking variety.
Well, that's a good point. Eve will definitely be ponderous upon this.
So the rest of the day is spent, Eve never does find Zeta.
Okay.
But it's a large space station. There's lots of people running around. That's not actually all that unusual.
Sure. Eve has a sense that Zeta may very well just pop up on her own on their own anyway.
But the rest of the day is spent everybody getting ready. Bloodthorn, you're hanging out with Geode. He is checking and rechecking weapons. He's got a couple of guns up. He's debating, which ones to take with him.
Right.
I mean, he's going to take them all with him. But which ones he'll actually pack if y'all go planet side. If you've ever seen Firefly, think, like when you see in Jane's little sleeping area where he's got the guns all mounted up. That's kind of, that is kind of Geode's room. So anyway, the next day, when does Muckboot want to take off?
Once the full team is rested and ready, and supplies are on the ship.
Okay. So
this is something that needs to be done fairly expediently. So.
All right. So the next day, through the night, you got contacted by the head of the StarForgers. They are okaying Rudan to go with you. You're given when her escorts drop her off to you, you're giving the control module for her ankle bracelet. And mostly it just keeps up with where she's at. You can basically taser her at a distance if you need to. You can adjust basically you can adjust the leash. So if she gets too far away, it can automatically go off. About the only thing you can't do is deactivate it and have it drop off of her completely.
All right.
But they will place her in your custody. Because aside from that one little attack on a CD, most of what she did wasn't particularly violent. That planet was overpopulated anyway.
I think my name for her is going to be Bait.
So she will be delivered to your ship whenever you're ready to go. Along with supplies she would need and whatnot. No, the Hound
It may take more than a day just to get all the tech bolstered in the ship that needs to be there to make a workshop for her.
But yeah, so you have a little team of StarForgers show up and install everything.
And of course, when Rudan shows up, discuss with her, make sure everything necessary is here.
She complains about not being as good as her usual shops, but for a mobile, temporary something, yes, all the necessities are there. There's bells and whistles that she would like to have, but there's confines of space. Because the Hound is not a especially large ship.
Yeah, the Hound is not designed to be a workshop ship. It is designed to simply store a hunt.
Yeah. And, Muckboot alone can live comfortably in it.
It will be a little cramped for a 6 to 7 person team.
Yeah. I think it's got living spaces for like 4. But so you may have to put up some hammocks. No, there's living spaces for 6. If somebody doesn't mind sleeping in the mid bay.
If Ebe doesn't sleep, we're good.
Eve does not sleep.
We're
He
good.
just stares.
Stick me in a corner somewhere.
Alright, so are we all on the ship, more or less?
Yes.
As things to prep? Alright. As soon as those doors close, I pull out the device, I cut off the automatic leash, I keep the GPS on, and I'll explain to Rude. while you are on this ship, you are part of the crew. I'm only leaving the GPS on for a safety reason. I am not going to use this to shock you.
I appreciate that. I will endeavor not to do anything that would cause you to shock me.
Thank you. Because you do understand the risks of this mission. We will most likely be kidnapped if we lose.
Oh, yes, they are taking people, aren't they? At what point, if things go badly, at what point can I take the ship and flee? I mean, if you've been captured, I am not a combatant.
Yes. I assure you, I completely understand the question. The Hound does know if I die. But they will most likely not kill me, so...
Well, y'all are going to have several days' journey. You have time to think about it.
We'll hash it out.
Bloodthorn will butt in. It's like, you're assuming we won't make sure that you're taken first.
I was told I would be staying on the ship while you do your scouting.
And you should. Because the moment we have anything to hand you, it will be the job you have. You are not to be a combatant on this ship unless absolutely necessary. That being said, if you want a weapon before we head out, I can quickly grab you one.
Oh yes, any sort of small energy pistol will be fine.
Yeah, get a sidearm from the hunter.
And you see, and when you give it to her, you see her go over it, like somebody, not like she's military, but like somebody that's had basic training with one. It's a dangerous galaxy. You never know, people might kidnap you and put you in tubes. She's very aware of such things. Go ahead and throw up the picture of the Hound there. But so yeah, you're good to depart whenever you want. Duke will come down to see you, talk to his son and see you off. Wishes you all luck.
I'll do my best to make sure your son comes home.
Please do. I'm kind of I've become rather fond of him over the years.
We had a bit of a rocky start, but me too.
But
The gems that are kind of his eyes dim slightly, which is his version of a squint, as he tries to figure out if you're making a pun on purpose because they're a silicoid species or silicon species. But yeah, you take off without any trouble, and you leave for Amverstan. Let's see, from where y'all are at, I think I said several days earlier, but it'd actually be closer to about a week's travel.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, well, space, there's a lot of it.
So we have plenty of time to just get incredibly annoyed with each other.
Yes, you most certainly do.
And we have a copy of the information from the ship attack and what the science team has gotten done, I'd assume.
Yes. And
it's time for Muckboot to pour over it and be like, this is what will be useful for us as far as what their weapons seem to be able to do, their actual physical statures.
Yes, their hand-based weaponry isn't really any stouter or weaker than anything y'all are packing. But you get the specific information on the ship. They update the ship's the Hound's translation software with what they've deciphered of the written language. Which, they had AIs working on it, so they cracked that out fairly quickly. And they're sending you what they're figuring out from speaking with the prisoners. The prisoners are being very closed-mouthed about any sort of militaristic plans or anything about their culture, even. They will state their name. But basically, they'll give their name, rank, and serial number, essentially. But they will carry on enough of a conversation that they've started piecing together the language. How the language is verbally spoken. So they're keeping the Hound up. The Hound is basically constantly being updated while you're in the more civilized area of space where there's a lot of faster than light communication networks. When you get out in the boonies where this planet is, there's more delay. About 4 days in, the information you get is one of the prisoners they think slipped up. The StarForgers have confirmed by now that there is no teleportation technology on that ship.
That's interesting.
Though one of the prisoners did reference them teleporting. So it's confirmation that what you thought had happened was what happened. But when they tried to follow that up, it's like he realized he might have said something that interested them and he shut down. So they're getting ready to bring in some telepathic species to take a crack at him. But there's lots of ethical stuff they've got to get through before the UFS will tolerate, mental invasion.
That's a pity.
The Empire of Minnows, on the other hand, is all for just boarding in their heads. They would physically extract the information if they could. But
to be fair, it's more efficient to just be evil up front than have to talk yourself into being evil.
Well, it's not that the UFS doesn't use telepaths. It's that there's kind of a process and an oversight, and there's just there's a bureaucracy you have to go through.
Yes, you have to talk yourself into being evil. Oh, we're going to invade his mind, but we need to take the steps to make it look like we're not invading his mind completely.
Well, you give him as many opportunities as possible to, It's kind of a desperate time, this situation.
Once again, I'm not saying we don't do it. Just saying.
I suddenly know. Friday I played a bunch of the Direbear GMs got together and played D&D. And Maddie was running it. And there was a bit at the end where we found some books. We were dealing with the Yanti, these snake people. And the books were all on how to breed for specific, snake breeds of Yanti. That I immediately referred to it as eugenics. And we had this whole thing where she's trying to explain that it's not eugenics, but everything she's saying is textbook eugenics.
Yes.
I was trying to come up with something cute, which is how the Europeans came with all them dog breeds.
You don't want to do something evil morally, but in the actual function, you want to do something evil because it's good for you. You are talking, it's a selfish activity that's purely evil, but you're trying to justify it.
Yep,
Just do it, we win, and then we apologize. It's not like they're running around apologizing for all the kidnapping.
I'm sorry. I'm very, very sorry. It's a terrible thing to have killed so many people in such a short amount of time.
I promise it won't happen again until the next time.
Right.
But all right, y'all arrive in system. Approach it slowly at first. You're not detecting any communications. At the distance you're at, you just barely detect some debris in orbit. Like there might have been a satellite network blown up or something. According to your reports on the system, they didn't have a whole lot of like orbital habitations or anything. Their population has been at a pretty sustainable level for a while, so they've never really moved off the planet in any great number. You are not detecting any ships in the system. But of course, they could be behind moons, landed on planetary bodies, stealthed. The stealth technology y'all would have access to isn't great. It's system-wise, it'd be like, if the Hound flipped on its stealth stuff, it's the equivalent of like invisibility 3. As long as y'all are at basically long range, and the closer you get, the more it drops in efficiency. But all right, so are y'all just going to approach the planet or scout around the system? How y'all want to do this?
Will it be best to scout around the system first before making an approach? See if they've set up any long-range, any sort of probes or sensors to tip them off if anybody is heading towards the planet.
All right. So who is going to be manning y'all's sensors?
I can do it.
Okay, give me an awareness roll. You find 2 beacons that have been left at the edge of the system. Not the side of the system you came into, but one of them is, like I said, one of them is flat out communication. Kind of a relay where any ship they had in system would broadcast to that, and then that would send it faster than light. Out to wherever it's aimed. The other one is a sort of buoy with like information on the system. Y'all would have access to it. The other one seems to be some kind of buoy. It is sending and receiving information on a pretty steady click.
I'm gonna swivel around in my chair and, like, outside the suit, Silver Star is just this 5'0" orange-skinned humanoid with eyes that are just a little bit too big to be comfortable. I was gonna say, relay that information and say, I might be able to hack into them. See if we can't get any information out of those.
Sounds like it's worth a shot to me. But Muckboot's in charge of the mission.
It's somewhere to start. I'd prefer to get grounded quickly, because that's the combat where we can at least survive, if outnumbered. But we need this information, so go ahead.
Does the Hound have any systems that would let me remotely access them? Or would I actually have to get out there and fiddle with them?
You would probably have to get out there and fiddle with it.
Alright.
The Hound is a very basic ship.
the armor wouldn't be very good for this kind of fine tuning. It's a walking tank. Do we have any EV suits?
Yes, they would have supplied the ship with enough suits for everybody that needed them.
All right. I'll slip into one of those and go on the spacewalk.
Okay. It's got magnetic boots, so you can stroll across the hull of the ship just fine.
Yay.
It's got like a magnetic tether, so you basically drop a magnet on the ground, and then you're tethered to it. Well, ground on the hull. So, no real trouble leaping across as long as y'all have pulled up close to the buoy. There's no problems leaping across. Do you have the technology specialty?
Yes, sir. 2 ranks.
Okay. Go ahead and give me your intelligence roll then. The number to beat is 7.
Ooh, nice.
All right, and Silver Surfer Shooting Star uses fiddle with stuff he shouldn't. Some of y'all enjoy being able to name your rolls a little too much.
Extremely so.
All right, so that's 2. So that's a moderate success. You get one of the panels off and you kind of splice into it. And like I said, they'd updated y'all's systems with the written language and the computer codes that at least their ships use. The buoy's using the same basic system. It is keeping up with... It's basically observing the system itself. It is keeping up with movements in and out of the system. It was not aware of your ship until you got right up on it. Like I said, y'all have some minor stealth systems, so... but it is also monitoring a shipping system. You're getting constant information from a ship in system.
Oh.
It takes you a little while to kind of sort out everything, but it appears to be on the ground on the inhabited world, and Verstand itself.
Just the one?
Only one appears to be in system. You can trace back and see records of a larger fleet leaving the system. They appear to have the fleet that left was 47 ships. And you get a breakdown of military versus cargo, essentially.
About how many combat equipped ships were there?
There were 25 combat ships. Now, it does not keep up with information like were they destroyers or frigates or,
Yeah.
or fighter craft. You have no idea there. It only had the military and the non-military listed. Or, I guess it'd still be military, but support, cargo, that kind of thing. But anyway, what you can tell is it's hooked up to that ship, so if they send a distress call, if their ship blew up, it would relay to the buoy. The buoy would contact the communication satellite probe that was left, and it would shoot that information off to the people that needed it.
Can I disable that function of the buoy?
Oh, sure. Give me another roll. Ooh, 4th number to beat.
10. Jesus.
Well, that's a massive success, so you can pretty much do with this thing's program whatever you want to do.
Alright, yeah, I'm just going to leave it active, but I'm going to disable its ability to actually contact the relay.
Okay.
So, yeah.
You can contact the relay, but don't.
Yes.
Okay, so it will... and you know, the general information that it gathers, it beams out every few days, basically, so... Y'all have got some time before its next scheduled broadcast. But you've set it up now where even if an emergency signal were to come through, it's not going to pass it on. But the onboard systems do not realize that they've been, muckered with.
That's the important bits.
Mm-hmm.
So, do we want to check out the ship that it's monitoring?
Probably not a bad idea. Like, what can it tell us about what do we learn about the ship that's on ground? Is it like a military vessel, cargo vessel?
It's a small military craft. Well, never mind. The boy wouldn't tell you small. It's a military craft. You would guess small because it's apparently only has a crew of 3.
Well, that could be a very good thing or a very bad thing. But
3 harbingers. There are only 3 harbingers. Look what they did.
careful of.
They couldn't even finish one world.
All the sci-fi references. That's what this is about. So if you're looking at the little, because I think I've got y'all moved over where y'all can see the planet. Yeah, y'all should be able to see the planet. Not that it's a super detailed map or anything.
It's colorful.
But
It's a very 90s PC game feel to it, and I love it.
yeah, it's a free like fractal map generator.
Oh.
That'll give you just continents and stuff.
Nice.
You can download it or run it off their website. I just don't remember what the website is now.
Unforgiving.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I'll
Pretty though.
head back into the ship and pass on everything I know, and
Okay.
just say, at one point in my life, I would suggest bombing that ship from orbit, but even if the Hound has weaponry capable of that, there might still be civilians in the area, and I don't think anyone here wants that under conflict.
Rudan is like, how many civilians?
You don't listen. I have a lot of respect for your work. I love it. I've used some of it before. I would kill to have some more of it, metaphorically, maybe. But you don't get to have a say in ethical matters, right? I barely have a right to have any say in ethical matters, right?
You did say she was part of the crew.
Well, I think Muckboot said that, but yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this is Star. Okay, right, of course.
I'm just saying, it's a war. Sacrifices may have to be made at some point. If making those decisions would hurt the rest of you, I can take that burden.
She's a giver.
I assure you, Rudan, I've killed plenty of civilians before. I could do it again. But it's not necessary right now.
Well, I'm only interested in if it's necessary.
But we're here to find out what happened to the planet, not engage in combat. So is there a way we can avoid this?
Well, according to your report, or what'd you get back from the beacon buoy? Buoy, that's what I'm trying to say. The ship is landed on this little section of the planet here. basically we have that kind of 3 Great Lakes kind of thing in the center of the continent. It's on that big piece that juts out. Towards the tip, if you put those lakes as like the center of a map, it's almost the center of the continent. The information you have on the planet itself, that's the capital city.
Well, that would be the best place to start an investigation.
So you move up to the planet without trouble. As you are passing by, let's see, y'all are somewhat stealth. But as you're passing through, there's the asteroid belt between the 6th and 7th planet. As you're passing close to one of the asteroids, you receive a communication.
Oh.
It's tight beamed. Hello? Incoming ship? Do you read us? This is Mining Station Daphne.
Mining Station Daphne, this is the Hound.
We spotted your ship as you were passing by, and we realized you weren't one of the invaders. Can you pick us up? There's most of the crew's here. We don't have a ship of our own. And do you know what happened? There was a communication blackout, and we know the fleet showed up and then they left, and it's just been quiet since then. We haven't tried any general broadcasts for fear that they might notice we were here if there's anything still in the system.
How large is your crew?
There's 50 of us.
Oh.
The Hound isn't large enough to transport 50 at once.
We've got supplies here to last us for a month or two. And the life support's good for a little bit longer than that.
Understood. We'll send information back. If our scouting mission is successful within the week, and we can find a spare ship, we'll be able to get you out. If not, there still seems to be some risk on the planet. But we can pick up supplies to buy you more time for an assistant to come help.
That would be fine. Or if you know, or if you could take us small groups at a time to the planet. I mean, however bad the attack was, I'm sure there's still
some infrastructure, yes.
Yes. You know, some people there, whatever.
With communication off or like, muted for a moment. Discuss with the crew. I would prefer us be able to save them, or assist them in some way if possible. Is there any disagreement?
Not on my part. Like, if this planet has any base ports near where we are, there's probably going to be shuttlecraft that we could at least set to autopilot to go pick them up and bring them back. If the planet is safe.
Rudan is sitting there on a data pad. From what I'm seeing here, they use a lot of automated ships in their mining. I'm sure I could reprogram, I'm sure we could put some life support in one of those, if nothing else, and cart everybody back in the cargo hold. Once you have, dealt with anybody on the planet.
All right. Unmuting and going back to them. We have plans to secure planet side, and then once planet side is secure and safe, we can arrange pickup for you.
Oh, thank goodness. Emperor repraised.
Oh, this is in the Empire section? Space?
No, this is an independent system.
They have their own emperor, I guess.
Yeah, they have their tip top head ruler is referred to as an emperor.
They have their own emperor and their own crazy rice farms.
In fact, according to your records, for some reason they refer to him as the last emperor.
I saw that movie.
I have not. But all right, we'll continue planet side then.
Okay. So they break communication.
Do you want a snack? I'll be right back. I'm sorry.
I could use a snack.
I'll take his
Come on
freeze
over. I'll
time.
fix you one.
But y'all reach planetary orbit without any trouble. There are virtually no satellites in orbit. They seem to have wiped that clear. A lot of debris now, but the kind of space debris that would mess up our space programs in real life, but ships like yours wouldn't have any trouble with it. From orbit, you can kind of zero in with the scanners and kind of see where the ship is parked. Think Google Street Views kind of stuff. Planet's got a pretty standard breathable atmosphere. Gravity's real close to Earth standard. It's a little warmer than Earth. There's no ice at the poles, for instance.
The nice, cool 106, 107 out.
So like our planet in 3 years.
There are places along the equator that might get that warm, but the capital city is a little south of the equator. Plus, the surrounding water has a cooling effect on the local environment.
All right, we'll land at landing at a spaceport does seem like the proper thing to do.
Okay. There's a few scattered around the capital city.
Just from like an overarching view, if someone comes by and look, a ship parked at a spaceport is exactly where it's supposed to be. There's nothing strange about that.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, and the Hound is small enough to park at pretty much any spaceport you can find. You can see they basically have like a waterfront that they've converted into a spaceport where larger cargo vessels would land. Also from orbit, you can see a fair amount of damage done to buildings and infrastructure. it's not everything is like just completely burned down, but like the larger spaceports are all shot up. You see a lot of damaged ships. You're not detecting much electricity use on the planet. What is going on may be like automated stuff. The entire planet isn't devastated, but it looks like the major cities were hit more than anything. But you come down, you land in the capital without too much trouble. How close are you wanting to land to the other ship? I mean, it's not in a spaceport, but I mean, are you grabbing the one closest to it? Are you coming in at an angle where you wouldn't be flying anywhere near them before you set down?
I suppose we should go for near it. The faster we can get in, get out, and see what the situation is, the better.
Okay.
If we've gotten this far without getting shot at, we'll most likely be able to get out without getting shot at.
Back.
Alright. Alright, so y'all have just set down, for the two that had to wander off. Well, you
Sorry
have
about
just...
that.
Oh, not a problem. You had both set down... Yeah, both set down. You had just set the ship down at one of the smaller spaceports in the capital. Basically the closest one to where the alien ship was landed. Because they didn't bother with the spaceport, they just landed in a clear spot somewhere.
How far do we have to travel to get to the ship?
It's about a half a mile.
Not too bad.
Nah.
No.
Not for a group of heroes.
So before we head out, I will state openly. Who would like to stay on the ship with Rudan?
I'm not going to try and fly your ship away.
We have an opponent that can teleport. I would prefer 3 of them not teleport in and immediately take you.
That would be bad. Though surely they'd have to know where we were.
See, Eve feels like Eve could be pretty useful for reconnaissance once Eve, leaves Eve's containment suit. So perhaps Eve should not stay aboard the ship.
Shooting Star's gonna volunteer. Like, you're already going out there with a lot of firepower.
Just before Shooting Star gets the chance, Geode has a suggestion.
Oh.
And he reaches into his pouch and comes out, basically with little plastic things about the size of coffee stirrers. But they're all in different sizes, or different lengths.
So we're going to draw sticks.
Yes.
Or draw straws.
So everybody draws straws. But when all is said and done, y'all all left the smallest straw in Geode's hand.
Okay.
No, maybe we should leave the NPC character behind to do the NPC character's
This
job.
was my excuse to allow the NPC to not be actively in the action.
When he sees that he got the smallest straw, his eyes brighten. Never mind, this was a dumb idea. He gets all his straws back, puts it back in his pouch. Oh well, there'll be a chance for me to set up one of my turrets anyway.
Hey, you have turrets?
Yeah, I've got some like mobile, placeable ones.
Love those bastards if you have to deal with them, but very
Yep.
useful if you're trying to secure a point.
I guess I should probably make sure the StarForger is in the friends category when I set it up.
If you have to.
I'd appreciate us being in that category too.
Can we just settle for acquaintance?
He looks back over at Bloodstone. I think my feelings have been hurt.
I'm talking about StarForger.
Oh, yeah.
I figured the women wouldn't get along.
It's very stereotypical of you.
A little misogynistic, ain't that?
Yeah, my apologies to women everywhere.
You just failed the Bechdel test.
So anyway, you have him. As you're leaving, he's setting up a couple of defenses. So if they pop up just unexpectedly, maybe they'll get shot unexpectedly. But y'all exit the ship. Technically, it's supposed to be winter, but it's sitting in pretty comfortable temperature. It's a big kind of cement pad that y'all are on. You have kind of a flight control tower. Which is a design most species seem to come up with for their spaceports. Because inevitably it always branches off from when they first developed air travel. And in the early days of that, actually being high up was useful. So it carries over.
Then it became just a design feature that makes sense because it's something you already know.
Right. This little spaceport doesn't appear to have been attacked particularly. The one other ship parked here, though, has been. It looks like he's taken a shot to the engines. When you venture out to the street, there's land vehicles parked everywhere. In some cases, there's abandoned vehicles on the roads themselves. But it's not. The roads aren't like clogged with them. Like if you see in a zombie movie where there's just empty cars everywhere. It's not that bad. But it is.
But so far, it is a ghost town of a capital city.
Right. You have not
Does it look
seen
like,
people yet.
Interesting.
Does it look like the vehicles were shot up any, or?
One or two of them. And there's a few. There's some obvious combat damage to the surrounding buildings. One area you walk through, there was clearly a firefight here. You can see, that tree got blasted and this, that, and the other.
Yeah, there's patches of heavy combat.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's sections where it's just like regular city, but some damage here and there.
So we've obviously missed the big show.
And while there's no people, you're seeing, some of the local wildlife.
So it's not taking every single living thing they can.
Mm-mm.
They're probably taking sentient things.
But you're seeing animals with collars, and some of them are wearing clothing. Some of them have leashes that are just kind of dragging behind them.
If I was a betting woman, somehow they're turning these sentient people in these worlds they conquer into foot soldiers, and that's why they seem to have unlimited resources and spread like they do. That's just a guess.
No, that's a good guess.
An unfortunately possible guess.
Either brainwashing them or just literally using them as raw material to make more of the species we fought on the ship.
But you continue on. The road you're on, from your records, leads to the Capitol building eventually. Though the ship is parked at a park area about a mile from the capital. So y'all park the spaceport y'all parked at is like a half mile from where the ship is landed. And if you went another mile up the road, is where the actual Capitol building was. Well, most of the Capitol building is still there.
Most.
Well, it has taken some damage, but
Yeah.
As you approach the park, the top of their ship is coming into sight, and you think you hear the first sound you really pick out, other than just the wind and birds or whatever, sounds like a blaster fire. And then maybe followed by some laughter.
Let's check it out.
All
Is there a
right.
spot to get a high point on it?
If you entered one of the surrounding buildings, maybe.
What about the roof?
Yeah, the rooftops would be fine too.
Cool. I'll use my rifle and swing up.
Oh, I forgot it had swing. So you grappling hook up to the roof. You see the parked ship. You see 3 people in the uniforms of the soldiers you have already fought. And you see a 4-limbed humanoid, which you recognize as one of the natives. An Amver. Their planet is literally named after them. And his clothes look awful. I mean, his clothes are all burnt and shot up. As you get up there, you see one of them. You hear blaster fire again as one of them shoots the guy, who staggers back. Falls to the ground, but then immediately starts to get up. He screams at him and goes like he's going for the guy with the gun. And and suddenly one of the enemy soldiers you saw is just a blur of motion, and you hear kind of a thwack, and the guy gets knocked down again, and then that blur stops. You have seen super speed before.
How many enemy soldiers do we see?
There's 3 for anybody that climbed up to the roof with Muckboot.
Oh,
So the same compliment that what the buoy or
Yeah, this would appear to account for the entire ship's crew, and the ship they've got's about the size of the Hound.
And on comms with the team. I'll discuss it. It appears to be the full crew out here. All, the 3 known to be crew members. There's no particular need for us to take hostages. When you are ready to engage, inform me.
I'm ready.
I'm good.
Alright. One of you cut off the entrance to their ship and I'll take the first shot.
Eve can cut off the entrance.
Sounds good.
All right. All right, so I assume Muckboot is setting up as a sniper, and everybody else is heading into the park.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
All right, go ahead and give me an initiative roll.
Oh, I clicked the wrong thing. Coordination.
So it was 6.
Yes. I hit strength instead of coordination. Jason, if you want to use that first roll instead of the 11 I rolled with my coordination, feel free. I'm not gonna be upset about that.
Uh-huh. All right, let me throw everybody's tokens on the board, just so I can click on them. And then all right, that's all 4 of y'all. And I'll give everybody a turn.
I'm highly suspecting this initiative order to take longer than the actual fight.
Well, one of them at super speed. Who knows what else the other readers are jacked up with?
Turns out one of them has multiplication. Thinking about getting color coordinated uniforms involved.
I've been tempted to design a flying paragon type with duplication.
Like a armada.
He's really just a character that popped up in like one issue of the Powers comic book. I can't remember who it was. Omega 5. It was something 5, and he could split into 5. But each one was a different primary color, so it was almost Taylor's Sentai character. All right, so Ebe got
5.
Silver Shooting Star got an 8. Good old Muckboot got a 11. Bloodthorn got a 6. And then a 1, a 2, and a 3 for my baddies. So I'll probably get to pull their stats out. Alright, so the Speedster got a 9. This one got a 7. And the last one got an 8. So they're all packed pretty close together. All right. Descending order. So the top of the order is Muckboot. Shock and amazement.
I'll go ahead and aim a shot at the Super Speedster.
Okay.
And I'll go ahead and tap my Quality Hunter Supreme.
All right, so spending
is
a
the
point
target.
already.
This is a target worth shooting at.
All right.
a 3 plus my specialty and my weapon plus the +2. That makes it a 16.
All right. They have got the defending extra on their power. Just as you go to pull the trigger, you see the speedster's head snap around and look up at you.
Bold of him to assume that means anything.
He does not, however, get out of the way in time because he rolled a 1.
And that is a
Massive success.
massive enough success for me to roll my gun to kill ratio.
Roll the gun to kill ratio versus his strength. Oh, he is not a very strong person.
Maybe he can beat an 11.
Oh my.
He's rolled 2 ones in a row. All right. So out comes damage. That's where I'm at. All right. So he got a 4. You got an 11. That's a massive success. Target is reduced to 0 stamina and renders the character unconscious.
Headshot on the super speedster. That is why he's the Hunter Supreme.
On the following page and each page thereafter, the character loses a level of strength. When strength falls below 0, the character dies. So he drops and has, 3 rounds to live, basically. Next up is the speedster.
Who bleeds a little on the ground super fast.
I believe that's called an arterial spray.
Make sure he doesn't have any sort of healing. But I don't think he did. Nope. It's an option, but he didn't have it. Alright. And then the next 2. Oh no, we've got 2 8s.
My coordination is a 5, so if his is higher, yeah. Bleh. Words.
You said your coordination was a 5?
Yes, sir.
And his, that's the wrong one. Alright, his is a 4. So you should actually be above him in the order. Ah, now you are. That works surprisingly well. Alright, then Silver Shooting Star, you're up.
I will emerge onto the playing field and take a couple shots at the person directly below me.
Okay. There are, as you come into view, they're already on the move. All of them were kind of looking up at Muckboot. But, he was looking through his scope so he could only see the speedster.
Yeah.
And then their heads swivel around when you come in.
Yes, it's an 8-foot-tall robot suit.
Well, yes, he is. All right. We're going to give him a red dot. We're going to give him a blue dot so I can tell them apart. So, do you want to go after red or blue?
I'll be taking a shot at red dot.
Okay.
Nice.
All right. You got a 12. Red dot defends with a plus. If I could roll something other than a 1, it's literally 3 rolls in a row.
Wow.
Just Put the dice in the microwave for the night and see if it gets better.
Well, the dice are part of his computer in this case, and that might end.
Well, they're part of their website, so you know. All right, so you beat him by 4. That's a massive success. Or no, that's a moderate success. And what kind of attack were you using?
It is a shooting attack.
Okay. So that would be killing. And a major drops to 0 to head gum. Now we're supposed to be able to handle these guys. It was not supposed to go this badly, this quickly. So he drops. You don't get a headshot though. It's just kind of center torso, and he just kind of goes flying back and hits the ground and just lays there, smoldering.
There's no problem with that.
All right, and next up was it was Red Dot going next, followed by Blue Dot. All right, Blue Dot looks at you, specifically at Shooting Star is the closest to be the easiest to see. So I'm going to need Silver Shooting Star to give me a willpower roll.
Oh. Alright.
Oh, now I'm rolling 2s. Great.
You're getting there.
If this combat went 10 more rounds, y'all be in some serious trouble.
Well, I barely beat it.
Yeah.
That help any?
You briefly have an urge to kill your sniper.
Wow.
As you feel a presence trying to force itself onto your mind, or into your mind.
He ate the last of the good protein bars 3 days ago. Kill him! Kill him now!
So that's his go. Then it is Bloodthorn. Bloodthorn, you are unaware of what just transpired. You just know the guy. You just know that one guy just standing there looking at Silver Shooting Star. You may be muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I did mute myself. I'm trying not to be too noisy. Who's not been hit?
There is one guy standing there.
Okay, I'm going after the one that's not been hit.
Yeah, the other
The one
two
left that's not dead.
dying. Alright, so, you know, assuming you approach with kind of the ship between you and him, then you can round the ship and kind of charge him without it before he... So he doesn't see you coming at a distance.
Okay. Then I will do that.
Alright, what are you doing to this poor man?
I'm gonna whip out my psychic blades and go after him with fast attack.
Okay. And what kind of damage does that do?
It does energy drain.
That's right.
So basically, the sword is just cosmetic. I'm just trying to touch him.
Oh, yeah. So is your basic coordination versus coordination for that?
Did it? I didn't see the number on my thing.
I
You
see
got a 12.
Oh, okay. I'm not used to using the pre-generated or the.
Oh yeah, now I don't see it. Oh, now I do see it.
I get it now. I was expecting to see the second text that had the number.
All right, so you rolled a 12 on the initial attack. He rolled a 9. So you make contact.
So I hit with the second one.
Oh, that's right. It's multiple attacks. I thought you just rolled again on accident because you were trying to figure out what was going on. I forgot about the multiple attacks. No, he got a 12.
Sneaky alien.
Listen, the life drain is... Yours is willpower based or strength based?
Willpower based.
Okay.
I like that you're a member of a multi-species scouting party, and you called that alien a sneaky alien.
Well, sure. The rest of you are useful aliens or friendly aliens. That's the sneaky alien. All right, so the willpower is... Does Mind Shield add directly to, or does it... Do you have it instead of your willpower?
That I do not know.
I bet it adds, but let's confirm that.
Mind Shield is a version of mental resistance defined as a mental power. See resistance powers for details. Okay, so it would help specifically with damage for sure. Though it's supposed to help with mind control too. Let me check Great Power. It may have more details. Mind Shield. See resistance, page 106. At least this one's got references for page numbers in it. Subtract the resistance level from the level of any such effect on you. Okay, I see how it works now. All right. What level is your life drain or energy drain?
Energy drain is level 8.
Okay. So some of it does get through. But that means instead of having a 9, you have a 2. And then he rolls his willpower. Okay, so he resists the damage. Or resists the drain, I should say.
You've resisted the sum totality of my powers.
And you can feel a force, your sword is like a manifestation of your will. And you can feel his will pushing back on it.
She'll just smile at him and say, "This is going to be fun."
Yeah, he's not really feeling jovial enough to get involved in banter. Two of his buddies just got headshotted out of nowhere. Well, one of them did get headshot. But they both got dropped. And all they were doing was having a little fun shooting one of the locals. Totally uncalled for. Next up.
Like they were hurting anyone.
Next up, Ebe.
Alright, so Ebe will go ahead and stretch to the spaceship. Even though that was Ebe's direction for the plan, and it looks like everyone else has the big fight seemingly well in hand. Plus, Ebe wants to know if there could be combat droids or any other non-life form, non-like organic life form threats on the ship. So Ebe will just kind of stretch to the entrance of the ship, and if you can do so, like, stretch around and peek and see what's going on in there.
Okay. You look into the ship, and in the little cargo area that it directly opens into, you do see some droids coming out of what you assume is their storage spaces.
Wow.
But it's like they've been slid out. They're not actually moving themselves yet. It's like some kind of automated something has moved them out.
Okay. Well, at the next opportunity, Ebe will kind of like smash into them and see what happens.
All right.
Is that a next page thing?
Yeah, you stretch the ship, then you run up into the ship. So.
Okay. Also, Ebe will go ahead and notify everyone else on comms that there are, and these are combat droids, right? Or can I tell?
Yes, they are definitely combat oriented. They look armored.
Okay. And
They're not spindly little battle droids like from Star Wars. This is
right.
imagine a robot that roughly the size of like your Warhammer Space Marines kind of thing. They're kind of bulky.
They look like Silver Shooting Star. No, they And how many? Can I get an immediate count?
There's 4 of them.
Oh, 4 combat droids on the ship. There are 4 combat droids on the ship.
Eve doesn't sound as excited about it. There's 4 combat droids on the ship. It looks like rain. Same level of excitement.
Exactly.
The coolest thing is Mike's voice comes through both Discord and Zoom, so Ebe's voice gets an echo when he talks.
Oh,
Ah, nice.
I didn't mean to do that, but thanks for letting me know, because I kind of like that. I forgot to sound myself
Yeah,
fun.
it sounds wicked when you do his voice.
Oh, awesome. Exactly as planned.
It's not a bug, it's a feature. All right, top of the order, Muckboot.
Well, Muckboot's gonna have to get a good swing in to get over to the ship, so
Okay.
he'll just one and done that.
How far can he swing?
Rank 6.
Never mind, one and done. I'm picturing it almost as doing like a zip line where it shoots it out of both sides and you just slide down holding your gun.
That's fine. The rifle has a lot of extras, so I'm perfectly fine with this.
A really nice gun.
That usually looks like
Grand
a...
Hunter's.
Okay.
It is called the Grand Hunter's rifle for a reason. It is a hunter's rifle, and it is grand.
So it's the rifle that's the grand, not the hunter.
No, the Hunter is
The hunter
supreme.
is supreme.
Oh, right. Of course. Not
It's a nice rifle, but it's not as nice a rifle as he is a hunter.
It's like we're playing the Marvel role-playing game all of a sudden.
I'm looking forward to that. The playtest comes out at the end of the month. Or at the end of next
for-
month. End of next month.
Oh, that's right. There's a whole new.
Yep.
I was just referencing classic Fasterbrick, but yeah, that's right.
Well, the trick is you have that same kind of joke with this one because your stats spell out Marvel. Was it might, agility, reason, vitality?
Really? Oh,
I forget what the last 2 are. Logic, I think, might be one of them. I forget.
Oh, cheeky.
Awesome.
It's a good thing DC didn't try that. It'll be like
Yeah, it wouldn't go very far, would it?
dapperness and charisma. Those are your stats.
Coordination. All right, so Muckboot is zipping down there. So yeah, using that, you could get there with your regular movement. If you want to do anything once you land. Now, if you want to go up into the ship with Eve, that'll be the rest of your action then, because you're effectively 2 moving. Are you going up into the ship or just landing next to it?
I I'm landing next to it. There's 4 battle robots in there.
And Eve is
Oh,
in there
wait.
by himself. Well, stepping in there by himself or whatever.
I'm still allowed to pretend he's a grown being.
That's true. You honestly wouldn't know any better.
I mean, awareness of 6 in a conversation right next to me about him being called young, I think I'd know.
Fair enough.
I don't know what young constitutes for a living nebula. He could still be older than me. Sorry, they could still be older than me. But
Ebe. Ebe uses no pronouns.
Eve is
Not
just
to be-
Eve.
Again, not. That's a good question. How old is Ebe? Oh well, I'll ponder that.
All right. So is Muckboot doing anything else?
just prepping for when those droids come out the door.
All right. So then we move on to Blue Dot, who happens to be the one that's still up. Or no, wait a second. No, it's not Blue Dot. That's the one that's the speedster. Never mind. You know what? Let's go ahead and just remove him from the order. So next up is Shooting Star.
And Blue Dot is still active, correct?
Blue Dot is the active one.
I will
The only
pop a
active
shot
one.
into his chest.
All right, give me a roll.
Oh,
Okay. How will the dice roller screw me this time? Oh no,
there
did
you
quite well.
go.
Hey.
And to be fair, look at those last couple. It's done me all right lately. All right, so he got a 12, which beats your 9, so he gets out of the way. His eyes are still focused on Bloodthorn, and he just kind of perfectly sidesteps your shot. And then it is his turn. Let's see. Give me a willpower roll. Shooting Star as he turns. Now he turns and looks at Shooting Star.
What'd I do?
And 13 is the number you want to beat.
Yep, I could not have beat that even with a 6.
Well, he rolled max, so that's.
Yeah.
Alright, so that is your willpower versus that. Of course, I turned away from the powers just when I needed them. So let's see, he beat you by 3, so that's a moderate. So a moderate success. Places the controlled quality, this is mind control, places the controlled quality on the target, so you now have controlled as a quality. Concentrate and make a new mind control versus willpower test at the start of each of your pages to maintain it. So anytime his turn comes around, he's got to make a roll. Basically, we remake the roll to maintain it. But he can do other things in addition to that. And the controlled quality I can activate for free as long as I want to.
Okay.
He wants you to shoot those people that just got at the gangplank of the ship.
Sounds totally reasonable.
So yes, he will activate that for free. Normally that'd be the equivalent of giving you a trouble, but he gets to do it for free, so you get no points for it. Don't forget, you could, if you wanted to, spend a determination point, tap something and spend a determination point to ignore this effect. You know, if you got points to spend and you feel like spending them.
Yeah. We'll see if he's alive by the time my turn comes around. So.
Fair enough. Next up, Bloodthorn.
Okay, if I remember right, he resisted my blade quite a bit, reducing my damage to just 2.
Correct.
Because it was a willpower attack. So I'm gonna...
Well, your roll was... The roll you made with that power was reduced to the 2.
Right. I didn't roll very well. Okay, I was thinking I might do better with just punches, but maybe not. I'm going to try it again.
Okay.
Same thing.
All right, so you got a 9.
Probably dodged that. This guy's kind of...
No, he rolled a 1. He got an 8, so you made contact with the first shot. And then you rolled max for the second roll, which beat him by 1. So both shots land. So what is your strength?
Well, I'm trying to energy drain again. So
okay, I see.
So I don't actually do... So it's actually 13 since I got both hits in.
Okay. So
I
13.
guess I could make a double whammy roll.
Alright, so 13 minus his mental resistance, which is 7. So it's actually 6 that he's resisting with the number he needs to beat is a 6 with his willpower. Which I think he could do with a 1. Alright, so with the life drain drained by 7. So yeah, he got a 7, so he resists that again. Clearly this guy's got some kind of mental protection. Bloodthorn would know enough about how her powers work to realize that. Whether that's through mystical arts or him being some kind of psyker or his species being naturally psychic resistant or what, you don't know.
If he lives long enough, I'll just punch him next time. I'll do a little more damage that way.
Eve.
So Eve's going to go ahead and kind of like project a limb in a stretching punch. So it's basically just punching the closest droid to see if Eve could smash it before it
Okay.
deployed onto the battlefield.
Make a roll.
Oh, that's not great.
I am going to give you a +2 because they are not activated yet, or they're in the process of booting up.
Okay.
You know, it's like the ship detected the what's happening and it's turning the droids on. It's happening quickly, but so that makes it actually a 7 that the droid would have to beat. Let's see. Coordination is a 3. Alright, rolled a 9, so it manages to get out of the way regardless.
Okay.
Muckboot. We are back to the top of the order.
The robot's out yet?
They have not stepped out of the ship. You saw Eve do a stretchy punch into the ship.
Is there a Still an enemy outside the ship?
There might be.
Cool. I'll move the gun, shoot him, and then move the gun back.
All right.
I'll just quietly do the gun to kill ratio now.
Oh, sweet goodness. All right. And his strength was... Actually, I've not looked at this guy's strength yet.
So, like, this does come down to my regret with Muckboot of making him the most overpowered gunfighter in existence. Like, he can only take out one target at a time, but he takes them out.
All right, that's a major success. You can beat him by 3. He drops.
Yeah. So Muckboot's holding it at the door, just moves the gun without looking, shoots, and then moves the gun back at the door.
I always picture Muckboot kind of like Quigley.
Oh.
If you've ever seen that movie,
Well, now I want to watch it.
it's actually pretty good. I think it's Tom Selleck is the one that stars in it, but
That's
it's
right.
like
Yeah, Quigley
He's
Down
a-
Under, I
he's
think
a-
is the name of the movie.
Yeah.
yeah,
so it's
he's
really
a
good.
ridiculous shot. It's like 5 miles away. Some woman's being attacked by wolves, and Quigley pulls out his rifle. Wolves! And just shoots the wolf dead.
All right, Silver Shooting Star.
I'm going to lower my gun from where it was pointing at Muckboot. Say, oh, I almost killed you.
Actually,
Uh-oh.
the dude's turn hasn't come up yet. He goes
Oh.
after you.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I'm gonna tap Repentant Space Pirate just to burn my 1 determination point to ignore the mind control.
All right. No, I swear I would never kill again, except that guy over there.
And
So
do I still get
if
to take an action, or is that just the one thing I was able to do this panel?
no, you can still take an action.
Okay, I'm gonna shoot at the guy trying to mind control me.
Oh, Muckboot just dropped him,
Oh, okay.
but the effect on you would not drop until he had to make a roll to redo it, and wasn't able to. And
That makes
luckily, you're up in the air, so nobody noticed you taking aim at Muckboot before you caught yourself.
sense.
So
Muckboot
now we
might
have to
have
deal
noticed.
with the
He doesn't
robots.
care.
Oh no, I'm not flying right now. Like when I said people below me, I meant like below me in the turn.
Oh, I'm sorry. I took that to
No,
mean you're in the
you're
air.
fine, you're
Never
fine.
mind.
Language is tricky whenever you're dealing with superpowers.
All right, then it's his turn, and yeah, any effects he put into motion. I'm going to let the robots go on his turn, though.
That's cool.
So the 4 robots' turn. Step off the little sliding thing they were on. And all 4 of them are going to shoot at Eve, the living nebula.
Ooh,
They have no
rude.
respect for his vast intellect.
Well,
That's
since it's
just
not,
rude.
since it's really not vast at all, that's totally legit.
I mean, honestly, they should submit to the wisdom of Eve.
Okay.
So this is a dodge.
So,
Look at that. Oh, here's where we.
okay, so the first one misses you. The second one you need to beat a 9.
Oh, do I roll for each one?
Yes, you roll for each attack.
Okay. Whoop. Nope. That one's massive.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Their guns do 5 points of damage.
Okay. Is it physical? Just regular physical damage?
Yeah, it's just regular damage. It is technically like an energy blast, but
Okay. As long as my density would my density gives me damage resistance, so I should be able to shrug that off. If I take
Okay.
no damage, do I still have to roll for the massive success?
If you take 0 damage, you still have to roll for the like on the kill chart. If you take negative damage, you do not.
Okay. Technically it was.
What is your
8?
8? Okay, yeah, that's higher than that's well higher than the. If they hit you with a level 8 blast, and you had an 8 resistance, you'd still have to make the roll.
Okay, that's fortunate. Next.
So then a 7.
That's a tie.
So that's half damage. So and then an 8.
There's another massive success, but then once again,
Right.
okay.
But they're combat droids, so they have probably realized, oh, it's a toughie. Because they were just all taking their individual shots. They weren't concentrating for improved damage.
Great.
Bloodthorn, you're up.
Well, I'm assuming we've all heard the commotion in the ship as the robots attacked Ebe.
Oh, yes, and a couple of stray blasts, or a stray blast, I think. Or did they all hit?
At least 3 of them hit.
I think the first one, no, the first one I flubbed at the roll. So, yeah, one stray blaster bolt came out.
So I'm going to run in the ship to help Ebe.
Okay, you see 4 robots sitting there.
I am... Can I... this is going to be a mistake. Can I get... Are they close enough I can get 2 separate ones with my fast attack?
Yeah, they formed up into ranks kind of in squares, so yeah. You could run up and manage to hit both the front 2.
Okay. Well, I will try that then.
Okay.
Rather than focusing on one, which is probably what I should do, but whatever.
All right. You definitely hit that one. And you hit that one.
Let's see how.
And how much do you drain?
It would be 8. They do get to resist with willpower. Unless they just are completely immune to it because they're robots.
Oh, that's right, because robots don't have a will save. Yep, your blade passes through them, but they don't react to it.
Cripes.
Sorry, man, you just hit the wrong targets. I mean, granted,
Yeah,
that was because the other targets were killed before you got to them. But
Yeah, she has got the wrong targets this entire session, but it's all good.
all right, then it's Ebe.
All right, so did we resume starting determination? Does this qualify as a
Yes. If you haven't spent any of this session, then you've got all yours starting.
my 1? Let's see. I feel like I wasn't able to. It didn't seem like I was. I figure if I couldn't hit them when they were, still deploying. You know what? If they're focusing their fur on me, I'm gonna lead them. Can I smash my way out of the ship and have kind of draw them out so that everyone else can have some fun?
So you're going to exit the ship, or you're going to smash the side of the ship?
Well, if I could. My concern is if I exit the ship, they might just, yeah. I think Ebe would simply say, perhaps we should draw them out, and then yeah, I'll just run out of the ship. That might be easier. I don't want to over risk. Actually, no. You know what? I will smash into the ship because as long as if I can establish, if I can get a big hole in the hull and give everyone else line of sight, then then they can join in the fun. So yes, I will just try to smash as big a hole in the hull as I can.
All right. So give me we'll just say give a strength roll.
Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna have to make a new roll for that because I will be, my strength is not my actual strength due to oh wait, does
Well, your density control would factor into that. I mean, it gives you effective levels of strength.
Oh, it does. Okay, I was because I was trying to remember if density gave enhanced strength as well as damage resistance.
At least I believe it does. Maybe I'm thinking about growth.
I'm sure I would have. Oh boy, yeah, maybe did I miscalculate that? No, that can't be right. Hey, baby girl. Boy, what have I been? What have I missed? Because I was gonna add growth.
Your strength equals your active density level or your normal strength plus 1, whichever is greater.
Okay, phew.
So yes, it gives you strength and damage resistance.
That's a relief. All right. Well, I will go ahead and let's see. Ebe physical damage. I'll come up with a much pithier description eventually. So I'll
smash.
go ahead and that's my to hit roll. I've already got that covered. So I'll just should I just make the strength plus? Yeah, let's just make the strength plus 6. That's we'll calculate it that way. Yes.
Okay.
Damage.
Nice.
I should have called that physical damage.
So yeah, you reach over and you smash a nice Ebe-sized hole in the wall.
Okay. And hopefully that will give everyone else line of sight.
Yes, well, Silver Shooting Star was standing next to the ship. Suddenly a chunk of ship goes flying over his head. Now he can just look up and see into the ship. Muckboot.
There's a robot to shoot now, isn't there?
There's 4 robots to shoot.
Them.
I shoot the robot.
Alright.
You sound as enthused as Ebe.
Robots aren't a hunt.
Oh well, that's okay. I guess I can get that.
They're gonna kind of sort of just do their thing. I'm not even sure I'm allowed to do gun to kill ratio on a robot.
Yeah, because they would still potentially have important spots you could hit.
Uh-oh. I've rolled a minimum. It may live through this gunshot.
What? Content Praxis laughs mightily at your lameness.
It's a robot.
It lives. It rolled a 9.
6 damage.
Alright, it is still up. It has taken some mighty damage, though. Oh, wait, no, it would have. I forgot about its armor. But, well, even with that, it's taken some mighty damage.
Yeah, I was afraid of course they've got armor.
Mm.
Silver Shooting Star.
I would actually like to tap bulky mech suit to give myself some trouble.
Alright.
Because I am such a very large and very obvious target, the robot's AI will prioritize me when their turn rolls around. Does that sound fair?
Yes, it does.
Alright. And I'm gonna take a shot at the one Muckboot just shot.
Alright.
11 is the number to beat. Ooh.
It does not beat it. It does not even come close. How much damage do you do?
I do 6 damage.
Alright, it goes down.
Alright.
So Uno is down. Then it's the robots, who all are going to shoot at Silver Shooting Star. As their targeting computers flag him as, battle suit. One of them is going to attempt to put a condition on you by basically trying to pin you down by doing rapid fire to, try to hold you and stop you from moving around. Let's do coordination. So you need to beat a 7 on a coordination.
Roll to 10.
All right, so you do not have the pin down condition on you. And then the other two are going to group their fire together to try to do more damage to you. The first one you need to dodge with a 9. All right, first one
That
hit.
is a hit.
And the second one you need to beat a 7. All right, so only the first one hits you. Their guns do, I think I said 5 points of damage a minute ago.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So that's 5 points of damage to you.
Well, I'm gonna have to buff that out of my suit later, but I'm fine.
Yeah. They're not exactly picking the right targets to shoot either. Then it is Bloodthorn.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to get through their armor, but I'm just going to try and double punch the one that was trying to pin down Silver's Shooting Star.
Okay.
Just use the same roll for this.
All right. Well, you definitely hit him. Now, are you trying to use the sword on him?
No, I'm just punching.
Okay. Oh, that's right.
That's
You get the multiple attack though. That's
Yeah.
I keep forgetting you have multiple attack. All right, both shots hit.
So, my strength is 3, so I do a whopping 4 points of damage. I don't know if that'll get through their armor at all. I'd probably just annoy them.
No, it does some actual damage. They don't have much armor. They rely on just stamina for the most part. But that got you up to 4. Okay, you visibly do some damage to it. Not like the shot that other one took earlier, but
Right. She'll just curse herself, say, "I hate robots."
oh, but they're super fond of you. All right, Ebe.
Right. So I think Eve will try to stretch around. Yeah, let's try stretching around one of the and grapple one of the droids. And would I be able to apply stretching in lieu of like a prowess attack, or is that something I'd have to stunt, or how would that work?
All right, now what are you trying to do exactly?
Just basically wrap myself around one of the droids to hold it still to make it I guess an easy shot.
That's just wrestling.
Okay.
You describe it as you using your powers to do it.
Yes. But would I basically roll with an 8 or with my prowess of 3 to do that?
It would be the prowess of 3 to initiate to succeed in the grab.
Okay.
And then it's strength versus strength for you to maintain the grab.
I see. Oh,
You gotta make physical contact first.
I see. I might just try to. Let me just try first another simple punch.
Okay.
And here we go. Oh, another 5. Oh, okay. Still another dodge.
Eve needs some boxing lessons.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Top of the order with Muckboot.
How many robots left?
There are 3 still standing. One is taking some damage when Bloodthorn ran up and started punching it.
My goodness, we're inefficient at killing robots. I will shoot at an uninjured robot.
Okay. Massive success, of course.
Of course. Hey, a max roll.
A massive success. You blow through. Must have been something important in the chest. Either the processor was down there, or the power source, or something. But it drops. Big smoking hole in it.
Two robots.
Silver shooting star.
I am gonna shoot at the other undamaged one.
Okay.
Bang bang. Oh, nice.
Massive success.
Gonna roll the 9's the number to beat. Oh,
He tied it. Let's see here. Killing attack, a failure or marginal success. So a failure or a tie means no effect other than the attack stamina damage. And how much damage did your blaster do?
does 6 damage.
Okay. So it's badly damaged, but it is still standing. Then it's their turn. The one Bloodthorn was beating on, turns around and fires at her.
It's shooting.
Yes. 7 is the roll to beat. Yowza. And the other one will fire at Muckboot.
Oh man, poor decisions.
5 is the number to beat because it rolled minimum.
Isn't coordination what you use to reply to ranged attacks?
It is.
Hey, I also rolled a 1.
Yeah, but my 1 is a 5, your 1 is an 11. Muckboot's a very spry old man.
He knows where bullets go when guns point. And he knows to not be in that area.
Oh yeah, there's only the 2 left now. So, all right. So next up is Bloodthorn.
Okay, I'm gonna do a double punch on the one that I hit previously.
Okay.
That just fired at me, because we seem to have a thing going on.
Mm-hmm. All right. Your 10 beats his 9. And your 11 beats his 5. So both shots hit again.
So that's 4 points minus whatever his damage resistance is.
You've cracked its viewing sensor. The head is sitting on crooked now. It looks like it's moving like a punch drunk boxer. It is technically still up, however.
But it's a lot funnier.
Its combat computer has decided that, Our only hope is to be amusing enough that they don't actually kill us.
Oh, he's just so funny. Let him live.
Run the pratfall subroutine. Ebe, you're up.
All right, I think I've realized that in combat, Eve's really more of an interposer than a direct combatant, because he's just look at him. He's not built for coordination or physical activity really of any kind. So I think he's going to simply be ready to like kind of like stretch and kind of like take the hits for anyone. I feel like Eve feels like that's what Eve does best.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what Eve will do.
So you're basically setting yourself up ready to interpose if they shoot at any of the squishier targets.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Muckboot, please put one of these guys down.
I shoot a robot.
Which one? The badly damaged one or the also badly damaged one?
Whichever one is healthier.
Oh wait, no, maybe that one. Let's see, there's 2 left.
Whichever one looks more functional, I want to make less functional.
Alright. That's probably the one that's still shooting at people. Alright, so you got a 14. They got a 6. Massive success, but that doesn't matter. The damage is enough to take them out.
Oh, cool.
Silver Shooting Star, there is one. The one that's boxing, or the one that's Bloodthorn is boxing, is the only one left.
I'm gonna go in and take that one out.
Okay.
Pop.
And you hit it, and it only had one stamina left, so. So here you have taken down all the robots.
And now I'm gonna stomp over to the poor guy they were abusing and check to see if he's alive.
Well, every time you saw him shoot him, he hopped back up. In fact, as you turn around, as you see he's made it to the gangplank of the ship and is like walking up into the ship. Clothes are all burnt, and holes are blown in them. There's some blood stains, but you don't see any injuries on him.
A fast dealer.
Have I described the local or the natives yet?
You said they were 4-armed.
Okay. Yeah, basic humanoid layout, remarkably similar to humans, truthfully. They just got little nose ridges and 4 arms.
Ah, what are those?
But yeah, he kind of hustles up into the ship. Looks around at the downed robots, realizes the fight is over. Thank you for your assistance. Who sent you? And then it's like he takes Eve in. You see his eyes get wide.
No. Acknowledgement.
Greetings, Living Nebula.
We were sent by a coalition of major governments. Of major, I guess, I don't know, or...
Governments is pretty much the right way to put it.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know how Eve would say such things.
Yeah, how would you say?
He's like, yes, we were attacked, and large amounts of the planet's population was taken captive.
Do you know of anyone else that's still on the planet?
There must be. They weren't here long enough to have possibly taken everyone. But I found no one in the city, and while exploring these three captured me and tried to leave the system with me again, but that just resulted in me reappearing here. They came back, and it's what you found.
Reappearing, so are you bound to the planet?
I'm sorry. He looks at the rags he's basically wearing. I'm sorry. Of course you don't recognize me. I am Sternute, the last emperor. And yes, I am bound. I am as eternal as this planet and bound to it. When they initially captured myself and so many of my people, I assume that I crumble to dust as soon as they leave the system, and then I reappear in this park. It's my park.
It's a nice park.
It's the location of my transformance. When I became bound to the planet and thus eternal. Anytime I've tried to leave the system, I've reappeared here.
We do know that there's at least 50 of your people on a base station Dorothy,
Daphne.
I believe. Space Station Daphne.
Mining station.
Mining Station Daphne.
That's our main mining station. They probably went unnoticed. Let's see. It's 4:20. We're going to go ahead and wrap here before we get too deep into conversation with this fella. So you have met the last emperor.
Mm-hmm.
And when we start the next session, we'll briefly go over kind of what he can tell you and the wrap up to this without spending too much time on him.
Okay.
Hope y'all had fun. I had a lot of fun running.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Clearly, I'm going to have to give y'all more targets so everybody gets a chance to take people on. But
I did the appropriate amount of bullying things.
All right. So anyway, we'll pick up in 2 weeks then with the next session. I don't think come to think of it, I think I forgot to introduce y'all when we started.
That you did, but it's all right.
I mean, I think we wound up saying everybody's name early on anyway. But
yeah, I think you introduced our characters, which we probably should do as well. But it's fine.
Oh, anyway, so anybody watching this later or listening to the audio version, hope you had fun. Hope you'll join us next time. I've been your GM for the day, Jason, and with me has been Taylor playing Muckboot.
See you.
Curtis playing Bloodthorn.
Laters.
Mike playing Eve, the Living Nebula.
Goodbye.
And Zach playing Silver Shooting Star.
Please join us again next time.
And we'll see y'all in 2 weeks.